Hi all, welcome to the Matchbook Horse Racing Podcast. We've got more classics coming your way this weekend. We're going to be previewing the Irish 2000 and 1000 Guineas. We'll get to the Sunday action. There's two Group 1s at the Curragh on the Sunday. We've got a host of good racing between four different tracks on Saturday, mainly in the UK, all the ITV action, and at the Curragh as well. We're going to start with the Irish 2000 Guineas. We'll get there. But first of all, high time I reminded you to like and subscribe to the podcast. If you did like and subscribe to the podcast and listen to the last few weeks, then you'll have found loads of winners through Charlie Post, who's back with us. He's been in flying form of late. And we also welcome back the one and only king of the jumps for this flat racing special, Micheál Deasy. We've called him the handicap expert, but he's very good. He's just good at backing horses in general. So he's back, and I feel good for that. Check out our horse racing markets this weekend. If you look at the odds checker grid, we tend to be best price on those, given the nature of the exchange. And of course, I'll tell you about Matchbook Zero a little bit later on. But do check out those markets. There's plenty of depth to them. And as I say, you're likely to be getting better odds given that Matchbook is an exchange. And we're going to get stuck straight in then to the Curragh, the Irish 2000 Guineas. Rosalien is a best price 2.0 in what is a race where a few have come out, and you two have put no bet. I mean, I guess I may as well kick off because I do make him a bet at 2.0. I think the depth to his form is just stronger than anything else. And River Tiber, you know, if you put stock in what Aidan O'Brien has been saying about both his main Guineas runners, the 2000 and 1000 this weekend, he's described them as having missed some key pieces of work and perhaps not being quite as forward as he would want them to be. So there is a doubt about River Tiber staying the distance. I think he'll be fine. He's a Wootton Bassett, and I know there's plenty of pace on the dam side, but I think a mile may well be okay. But, you know, Rosalien is a race fit, out and out miler who ran a really good eye-catching race in the Guineas. You know, the straight track at Newmarket, it didn't hinder him necessarily, but I can see him faring a little bit better here. He was a little keen early last time. Not too bad, but he can be. But, you know, he should settle in behind here. I guess the worry is that Ballydor have got a few runners. They might, you know, look to control it in that sense, which they often do, quite rightly. But I just think he's standout best of these. And he's also got Hartem, who's likely to not be too far away, because he'll want a bit of pace to chase. So I think that stable companion will help him. And I don't know if you two want to add anything. You don't have to, but 2.0, I really make him a fair bet.
No, I completely go along with all of that. I mean, I put no bet down because I'm not even really sure why. Because I mean, when you say it like that at 2.0, if that's what you're into, that there's probably a lot worse sort of value shots than him at that price. And I mean, he holds unquestionable through previous form. River Tiber, as you say, stamina out, yard, the way that they're prepping these horses for these first classics of the year. And so you're looking at his biggest danger is Hatem, who I'd be very disappointed if Rosalien wasn't a good bit better off than and wasn't going to beat. So yeah, I completely echo what you said. But yeah, for me, I just flagged them up as a no bet.
Okay. Do you want to move on, Dees, or do you want to say anything? Don't mind.
Drive on, you've well covered there.
Right.
I agree with everything.
115 at Haydock is the Silver Bowl. Three different horses are going up here. They're all prices as well. So, DC, I'll let you come in first of all because you got the biggest price of the lot.
Oh, yeah, Son of Man. I'm picking Son of Man. Jane Chapel-Hyam's horse, so he's drawn in 5. She's like about 6 on the shortlist for this, but what I really liked about this guy is how he started late in the season and should make his debut until the end of September, but he ran 4 times and he finished 3rd in the Horace Hill, behind Arn, who could give the farm a boost. I think he's running today, but it was on really heavy ground. And what I liked about him is that he just kept on going. He stayed on all the way. He never looked like it was getting to him, and he came out again and he ran fine in St. Cloud in November, so it didn't leave that much of a mark. It is his seasonal debut, this one, and I think Jane Chapel-Hyam is a serious trainer.
At 13.0, Charlie.
Can Do No More for me for Tim Easterby. Duran Fenton rides in this time. He had progressive form as a 2-year-old. Plenty of horses that he was in and around the rated high 80s, even in the 90s now. And he reappeared at Haydock a few weeks ago, and look, he absolutely hacked up. I'm not sure it was the strongest race. The favourite underperformed badly, but he could do no more than tank through the race like he did. He looks physically like he's progressed well from 2 to 3, and the fact that he's proven on soft ground and a course winner makes him all the more appealing, because I'm working on the basis that the ground is going to be very hard work and testing. So Can Do No More, 9.0, win and place.
Yeah, the ground makes it tricky, doesn't it? Depending on what else they get weather-wise going into Haydock. Might be quite a holding come race time. Anyway, Blue Lemons for me. I quite like Blue Lemons' form. There's another horse I'm going to mention later on who's got form ties in with Blue Lemons. I like the Bracken's Laugh form from Newbury. The Haynes, Hanson and Clark ultimately looks pretty strong. And this horse has proved that he handles cutting the ground. He ran well last time in the race where, Hand of God didn't necessarily nick it, but it was a small field. Not many got into it, and Hand of God controlled it. Blue Lemons, I think a mile is his distance, but I still think he could have done with a bit more pace that day. This is a slightly bigger field. He's likely to get a little bit more pace, and I think the race, he's only gone up a pound. So I know he's top weight, but I think he's good enough to go close in a handicap of this nature. I think he should be able to make a transition, stepping back up in grade as well. Blue Lemons with James Doyle on board for Richard Haddon at 9.0. So some prices going up there in the Silver Bowl handicap. We're going to hot foot it to a 7 furlong handicap at Goodwood. We're going in ITV race card order here because there's so many tracks. It felt easier to do that. This is the 130. Again, some fair prices going up. Charlie, you can kick us off, please.
Yeah, Balmacara for the Eve Johnson Horton team, who again, Dees was sent out the Chapel Heim team. I have massive respect for this operation as well. This horse had, a really good run in November behind Zoom at Newmarket. I finished 3rd there, and then is 2 from 2 at Doncaster this spring, and was really impressive on his latest start, beating Surrey Shadow, where he defied a penalty. Talked about afterwards by Charles Bishop as a group horse, and that maybe Eve Johnson Horton might be looking for a group race next. She's not. This 7 furlong handicap is the target, but he's running off 94, and you might need to be a group horse to take this race out, full of really interesting types. The one concern is he's obviously proved really effective on slow ground, through all his starts. But again, they're giving the ground as good. I wonder if it might be a little bit tacky, and certainly the way he goes about it, he's got plenty of speed. Doesn't suggest to me that he has to be an out-and-out soft ground specialist. So really interesting race, but yeah, I'm chucking him up a win and place 9.0.
All right, I'm going to chance Al Shabab Storm at 8.0. Obviously, you make a lot of the draw at Goodwood, but I do think if you're playing the high draws, then you're just going to make life slightly difficult for yourself. There is a lot of pace. There's a lot of pace low as well. 1, 2, and 3 can definitely go forward. Al Shabab Storm is a previous course winner. That came over 6 furlongs at the back end of last year, on ground with a bit of cut in it. I think it's currently good. But, I'm working sort of no better than that. Easy side of good. And 7 furlongs is absolutely fine. The trouble is he's been a beaten favourite on his last 3 starts, so that's obviously a concern. But I think he'll be fine here. The 7 at Newbury didn't really suit. That was his first run of the season, but he stepped up on that last time at Chester when getting too far back, and it was a pretty classic eye-catching Chester run, to be honest. Maybe I'm falling into that trap, but I think a return to 7. He's also got form that ties in from Leicester with Blue Lemons. I've talked about that horse, I think, being well treated. So I think a mark on that Leicester run, he's not too far off Blue Lemons, who's rated nearly £10 higher. So Al Shabab Storm for me, who should just be able to sit and track and hopefully get one of those sort of ideal 7 furlong Goodwood rides where you sort of slingshot into the straight, which is I think how is the best way to ride the track anyway. So just sitting slightly off it and then come sort of just off, or a good bit off the rail into the straight. Al Shabab Storm at 8.0. Dees.
Yeah, take this. Found this one tough now. Taking the chance on Dragon Leader. He had a great season last year. He's actually, I was looking at, he's after winning over £300,000 already. And it's only a second run as a 3-year-old. He ran very well in a couple of the 2-year-old races at York and Doncaster last year. He was out on Ascot Trials Day over 7 furlongs. His first go at 7 furlongs. Broke well, tried to make all, and just got picked up in the last furlong. I think he just got a bit tired. He can strip a bit fitter here. I wouldn't be worried about him not training on or anything, because he was well backed the last day. They were expecting a better run. He just finished kind of a lazy third. Hopefully he's all right for it. He's a bit of a higher draw. He's there drawing 11, so he's not quite out in the wing. But hopefully he'll be tracking the favour there, Kirat, and can hit the places at around 11.0.
Okay, that's Al Shabab Storm, Balmakera and Dragon Leader. The 150 at Haydock is the Temple Stakes. Charlie and I agree. So why don't you start off, Dees, with your shout, Kurdos?
Yeah, this is very much a price thing. So Kurdos is the rag of the field. He's going to be 26.0. But on his last run, there was only about 3/4 of a length between him and Vadream, Beautiful Diamond, 7 questions. They all ran there at the Palace House Stakes in Newmarket there on Guineas weekend. And he wasn't by any means out of it. He was staying on all the way. He stayed onto the line once they hit the rising ground. Actually, at the end of it, he really got going. Maybe the soft ground could go against him here, but at 26.0, I mean, he's over 5 or 6 times the price of that Dream, double the price of Beautiful Diamond, and 7 questions again as well. Like, and there was only 3/4 length between them the last time. He's entitled to come on again for that, and it's more of a price thing really, because I think this is open enough. That Dream is obviously fab because of conditions, but they'll have to go through it, and I'd rather take a price at a big price one there, and hopefully that he'll hit to the top 3.
Okay. And do you want to make the case, Charlie, or me? I feel like I'm, I don't know, 60% confident at the prices at 9.0 with a filly who, she ran pretty well last time. It may not have been the most or the strongest renewal of the Temple Stakes, but Carl had been pretty clear that was very much a starting point for her, and she would improve for it. And I'm ultimately on her 2-year-old form. She's a very classy, very, very fast sprinter. So I thought now 9.0 off the back of that run, it was tempting me in enough.
Yeah, I mean, like you say, I just thought she was too big. You know, the Dream doesn't win that often, but does have a hugely improved strike rate on ground, soft or worse. But this filly was a really good 2-year-old. Like you say, Carl Burke had said all along that he thought that she would improve for the Palace House run. I thought this track might suit her better, and I thought she ran in the Palace House like the run would be needed. She led sort of half a furlong out and just flattened out, and I thought the return to this flatter track might be interesting as well for her. Ground is a slight imponderable, but she did win at air on good to soft, so I see no reason why she can't handle this. And 3-year-olds have won this a couple of times in the last 10 years hot streak, and the Yard won it last year with a 3-year-old in Dramatized. So she's pretty quick and pretty classy. And I thought at 9.0 it's too big.
There's some weather around next few days still, isn't there? Up there. Yeah, that's potentially worse than I thought. Is everyone working on soft/heavy ground, or what are we working on for Haydock?
Soft, hard work, I thought, as in, so, I mean, look, it's definitely going to be a factor, like massively. As in, if you don't, you certainly don't want to be back in good ground horse. I wouldn't have thought up there without,
Because everywhere else kind of looks all right. I mean, Goodwood, York, fine, but Haydock, Goodwood looks fine. There you go. Could be pretty testing for Temple Stakes Day. That is our look at the Temple Stakes. Couple of shouts of Beautiful Diamond and Curtis at a massive price for Dees. It's just you, Charlie, in the height of fashion. The 205 at Goodwood. I was most interested in the Cheveley Park filly, but she got a penalty, and I don't know. Fillies races sometimes leave me scratching my head. What do you like about Francophone?
I just thought she looked straightforward, isn't it? It was one of those. This wouldn't be like one of my most positive selections. I was worried with Regal Jubilee with their tendency to race keenly. As you say, she also has to carry the penalty, and plenty of them are either unknown qualities or in here looking to nick a bit of black type. So I thought Francophone, won that handicap on her return well enough, stepped up with the Musadora, where she travelled into the race well alongside Secret Satire and kept galloping well. She just looked typical of the yard, straightforward, improving with time and up in distance. And I just thought she was the real solid one, to be honest. So yeah, Francophone 3.5. I thought that was fair enough.
In the Sandy Lane, it's just you, DC. You. I don't know what price this is, but you're going mainly place. If I could just I'll just frame it around Van Dijk just quickly, who is an odds-on shot around about a 1.65. If I look at the previous winners of the race favourites, Little Big Bear went off 2.0. Harry Angel won it. The previous winning favourite before that went off at 1.91. Professor went off odds against, but I don't know if Harry Angel won it at close to even money. Little Big Bear was. Van Dijk is far better than these on all known form. The Ramatuel form took another boost from Deauville. So I mean, I think he's rock solid. It's just I still didn't necessarily think he'd be as short as he is. If he got close to sort of the 1.9 mark, then yeah, fair enough. But I think he will probably romp home here. It's just, I don't know, 3-year-olds and that sort of price wasn't for me. So how are you playing this, Dees?
Well, this is your dead 8. Hopefully they all stand up. Probably won't know if the ground keeps getting worse, but this is your dead 8. So you should be playing something at a win place each way price. And I'm going to stick with Esquire, David O'Mara's horse. Again, ran fine last year, second to Port of Sanger York, and then got completely stuck in the mud at Doncaster. But came out to start the season and won the Greenham. People are kind of saying it wasn't a great Greenham and all that, but I thought he won well. Sure, he could only beat the horses that are in front there, so that's not his fault. Completely turned, and he was a big price that day. His sire is Harry Angel, who won this race many years ago on firm ground, but he won at Haydock as well on heavy. I'm hoping that he'll just he will handle the conditions and can run into a place. That's basically it, because as you said, Van Dijk is far clear of these, but I'm not one for backing at 1.6, 1.7, whatever it is.
Understood. Yeah. I think we probably all feel rather similarly there. The 5 furlong handicap at York is up next. So this is the 245. Again, Charlie and I agree. I certainly wanted to play the slightly lower number. There's a lot of pace low, and I just feel there's enough evidence recently, certainly the Dante meeting, etc., to suggest that middle to far side is where you tend to want to be. Although you can win from high if you go over with them. That did happen a couple of times at the Dante meeting. Anyway, Charlie, we can make the case for course and distance winner Vintage Clarets. You first.
Yeah, like you say, course and distance winner. And just, the run at Chester behind Democracy Dilemma was a good one. Democracy Dilemma, I think, had the plum draw on that occasion, made the most of it. They're weighted to finish pretty close together again. But I just felt with Vintage Clarets, he's typical of sort of a Richard Fahey sprint handicapper. He sort of works his way into the season, and the run at Chester showed that his time wasn't going to be far away. And we know the yard and the owners love winners at York. So I thought this looked an obvious one in a race that wasn't that deep, I didn't think, for York sprint handicap. But I also thought DC's was interesting as well for the same yard.
Go on then, Dees.
Yeah, I just picked Brooklyn 99. Bit of an unlucky horse. He keeps getting denied clear runs. If you read back Watch's form or read back the notes about it, he's been denied a clear run, I think, 2 out of his last 3 times. But especially the last time at Hurst, he was backed for the race with off favourite. He lost by a length and a quarter, but he was just behind, not even a wall of horses. He just couldn't get out. Got out, flew home. So hopefully the wider expanse of York Racecourse will play into his strengths. And again, he's a win place price, although he's a lot shorter than he was when I was doing my notes earlier. He was about 11.0 when I was looked at him this morning. I know he's 9.0, so that's a good sign, hopefully.
Okay, that is Brooklyn 99 and 2 shouts for Charlie and I for Vintage Clarets. The new Boston handicaps at 3 o'clock at Haydock. And I was very tempted, but I just needed to stop copying you with English Oak, who I thought ran a good race back over 7 last time, Charlie, but you're sticking with him?
Yeah, I mean, look, I suppose I've made the case about the ground as well. I mean, that is the one imponderable within English Oak at this stage of his career, in that he has been taken out on slow ground before. So, but I just felt like I'd rather be with him than anything else in the race. I tipped up Zip when he was just got beat at Haydock on a couple of runs ago. But I just thought so many of them in this were thoroughly exposed, whereas English Oak isn't. You know, he's a low mileage 4-year-old. He ended last season with a very good run behind Rohan at Ascot over 6. Stepped back up to 7 at Newmarket, and look, Noble Dynasty absolutely dominated that race from the front. He had to work to get into it, and it was a perfectly respectable return. And I thought with maybe the added premium on stamina ridden similarly would suit him well. But like I say, the ground is the slight imponderable with him. But yeah, I just thought the race was full of very much exposed animals, and English Oak definitely isn't that. And there'll be a big handicap in him somewhere.
DC, who do you like?
It's very close to no bet in this, but I'm just going to put up Metabolt. I don't think he will run if it's genuine heavy ground. He's been pulled out for it before, so obviously we'll wait until the day. But he is again, he's decent course form. It was around this time, it was 13th of May last year. He made his season debut, and he won at Haydock on good to soft ground. Won again the following time. He's up 8 pounds from his starting mark last year. He had a little run ahead at Chester there recently, managed to finish 4th from the widest draw of all. So he's probably spot on for this. Have a small little bet in him if the ground isn't completely bottomless.
Brad, welcome along, says interesting jockey booking on Metabolt. He also says, interesting one for Cartmel. I like this. They've got the revised card there, as in it's later in the day now. Jimmy Moffat has Vermouth Isle in the 4 p.m. Been pointing and will love the ground. Tom's favourite pudding race, the Cartmel Sticky Toffee Pudding Maiden Hurdle. It is my favourite. I would assume Charlotte Jones is on this for Jimmy Moffat, and they tend to mop up pretty well around there. I will keep a close eye on that, Brad. Thank you. If you're punting the 4 o'clock at Cartmel, you have a busy day.
Good man.
Yeah. You ever ride around Cartmel, Charlie?
Yeah, I rode around Cartmel, won a sticky toffee pudding there once for sure. Yeah, really good track. Actually, be one that I'd recommend to anyone keen to experience something different. It's a really unique place.
You can take dogs.
Yeah, and your barbecue. You can
and
do
your
whatever
barbecue.
you want.
You could be basically you can genuinely do whatever you want. There are dogs on the track there once. Do whatever you want. Good. We move on. I don't know where to. Oh yeah, the Bronte Cup.
York.
So yeah, 320. I had to sit this one out. You two agree. So I'm going to let the most confident of the two of you speak first. Safety catch 11.0. Take it away.
Take it away.
Okay. Your face belied any confidence there, Dees, but go on.
No, I would have. I think I put this up as my best long shot as well.
Okay.
Just go back through her form. She has finished 10th on debut at the back end of last season. She finished second, first, winning a listed race at Lingfield in her final run. But she stepped up in distance. She started off at mile 2, went up to mile 4, mile 5. She looks like it's very hard to get her going. The jockey is pushing away on her all the time. It's probably just hard to get the revs up, but she finishes the race as well. She's got a fantastic pedigree, and she's out of Cracksman. So if there is a bit of juice in the ground, that won't bother her. William Haggis will probably like a winner York, as everyone knows. So this could have been an early season target for her. She's a big price. There's a few good horses there at the top of the market, but I thought that 11.0, and I thought that the distance will suit her very well. I just thought there was a lot of upside to her, and nice price as well at 11.0.
Charlie.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I thought that the extra furlong and trip would work well, and just as well, like, she got her black type, which is all important for these fillies that with the Oppenheimers, with the they love their breed, and I'd imagine that she will be a broodmare for them before long. So there was no real reason to return to training unless they thought she could progress yet further again. So for that factor, enormous respect for the trainer, and the fact that she's returning suggests to me that they think she can climb further up the ladder, and this is an obvious starting point. 11.0 I thought was too big.
Agreement there then with Safety Catch in the Bronte Cup. The final race we're going to preview on the Saturday is the Helnook Handicap. It's the 3:30 Haydock. We don't agree here, but got some whopping prices. Charlie, you've got one towards the top and one towards the bottom of the market.
So I've gone with Nothing to See as my main bet in the race. Had a really good season last year. Obviously, 4-year-old progressing through, and he ended his season with a win at Sandown Upton trip on handicap debut over a mile 6. The yard have said that soft ground is essentially very important to him. He returns off a mark of 97, so he's going to need to be a decent horse and a potential group horse. And maybe there's a slight concern that he hasn't had a run this year, but the Rafe Beckett yard's really sort of hitting their straps now and in good order. And I just thought, again, in a race where plenty of these were exposed, this horse trying 2 miles for the first time was very, very interesting for like I say, a high quality yard that I have enormous respect for. So Nothing to See at 5.5. And then for my long shot, I popped in Legendary Day for the Adrian Keithley yard, who again, I think is a savvy operator. Also had a couple of runs this spring. I mean, actually ran okay behind Seeking at Ripon, wasn't beat all that far. Was disappointing at Newcastle on the all-weather on his latest start, but he was 41.0. He's down in and around a mark that he can definitely operate on, and he loves slow ground. So I thought, where the vast majority of them are fairly exposed, as is he, 41.0 about a horse that's definitely going to handle conditions, and his handicap to win a race like this made him interesting. So he was my long shot.
My starting point was a long shot in this, and that's Solent Gateway. They changed the headgear last time in the Chester Cup. It didn't work. It was won by a stable companion. Back to the tongue-tie cheap piece combination, which I think we're on board for the last success. That came in this race last year. But that was on quick ground, and Holly Doyle rode the horse from the front, and job done. This race often suits those towards the head of affairs. He's £4 lower than the win last year, and he's 21.0. Yeah, he's not in great form, so that's a concern. But I'm willing to chance him at that sort of price, back at the scene of his last success. He has got form on soft. If it gets a lot worse, that would be a concern. But again, he's 21.0. The race he won last year, £4 lower, and should get the run of things. And with a Sheen Murphy booked, so that'll do for me. Dees.
Taking a wild swing on Yukon Glen. He's going to be getting his conditions, and he's 11 years old now, but he is back down to 89 from. He was rated well into the hundreds there at one stage in his career, and he ran fine last time. I think he ran into one there. He was beaten 4.5 lengths by a Charlie Johnson horse there called Capital Theory up at Hamilton. But he finished second. This could just be the kind of race where I've done as a small win bet, but I would be playing and probably going to be getting 4 or 5 places on the matchbook exchange. So have a little small bet in the place 4 and place 5 market. That'll at least cover your win bet if he hits top 5, and you might make a small little bit of profit.
That's You Can Glen. 25% win, 75% place for Dees. Any other bets? You've got one at the Curragh in the 305. Don't even know what race that is, Dees. Is that that's on the Saturday?
Yeah, it's the RB Stakes. It's a 1.5 mile listed race. I don't even know if this horse is going to turn up now or what price it's going to be, but it was a massive eye catcher last time. There's a horse called Samia. It's a Dormer horse, an Aga Khan horse. Had only one run in his 3 never ran as a 2-year-old, ran as a 3-year-old, and beat Thunder Roll on its seasonal debut, like giving up. Thunder Roll had 2 seasons of experience ahead of it, and she beat it by half a length. She came out and made her seasonal debut at Cork there at the end of April, 26th of April. Was beaten by Thunder Roll, but came absolutely flying through horses to finish second. Just kept getting blocked. Would have almost certainly won the race if she got a clear run. And she's being fairly tossed into the deep end here now on only her 3rd start. But she looks a serious horse. So if she turns up, I say she could be a sharp price as well. People aren't going to miss this. But yeah, looked really good. Yeah. Watch her last race if you can see it, and you'll see what I mean. She was very eye-catchery.
I'll just have a word on the 2 Group 1s. I'd be against, really, because of what Aidan's had to say about the Justify filly at the top of the betting, whose name I'll remember very shortly.
Opera Singer.
Not because of the Justifies as a 3-year-old. We're dealing with a small percentage at the moment, and I'm not so concerned about that. And she was best of the fillies last year, certainly. She's just, I think she will probably get, she'll probably get a little bit further. There's a lot of pace on her dam side. The other thing about her pedigree is her best siblings were still best as juveniles. So that's just a slight concern in the back of my mind as well. She's missed a key bit of work. She's round about 3.5. So it's not that I don't necessarily want to lay her, but I will find something else to back against her in the race. It could be one of the bigger price Aidan O'Brien horses. If Skellet runs, she would half interest me. I still think she got beaten by a decent filly last time, Dance Sequence, for all she hasn't come out and won yet this season. So I'm not sure what it is yet because I haven't got decks, but I'll be backing something against Opera Singer. And the other thing is Auguste Rodin. My starting point for the race in the Tattel's Golf Cup was to be against him, but I think Luxembourg's going to come out. So he's 2.0 at the moment, Auguste Rodin. He'll probably shorten up quite dramatically. But if there was anything near that floating around, he can run a stinker. He looked fairly large, I thought, at Meydan, where he quite clearly needed the run. So I wouldn't be too hard marking him on that, where he was in the rear group and you had to be in the forward group, and also he can throw in a stinker, and he wasn't absolutely 100% for the race. So if he'd only have to be 80% to win this. He's so much better than them, but it's all price relative. And if there was 1.9 around or even 2.0, then I would snap it up because I think he'll win. Matchbook Zero long shot. A reminder that Matchbook Zero, you're likely to get best odds because there's zero margin and zero commission. And with the fact that Matchbook is an exchange anyway, your likeliness of getting better odds is further enhanced. So that takes an even bigger boost with Matchbook Zero, where the market goes live at 10 a.m. each day. If you want to win bet, head over there. We were meant to go different races and I just didn't look, Charlie. I'm sorry. I've gone Solent Gateway because it's my biggest price and you're in the same race.
It's all right, man. I'll forgive you.
Yours is Legendary Day. Dees?
Safety Catch in the Philly Stakes at York.
And that's your best bet, is it, Dees?
Yeah, I was kind of struggling for the best bet, and Charlie's bit of an argument as well on top of my own for Safety Catch kind of swayed me towards her. Yeah, so I stick with her 11.0.
Okay, Safety Catch in that 350. Charlie?
Beautiful Diamond in the Temple for me.
And I'll go in the preceding race. Blue Lemons, the top weight at 9.0 in that handicap. We're done. I hope you have a very, very successful weekend across loads of tracks and a couple of days as well. And we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye.